Adrian was a young man who feared death more than anything else. He avoided talking about it, thinking about it, even hearing the word. Whenever he heard of someone passing away, a cold fear gripped his heart, and his mind would race. What if I die young? What will happen to me? What will happen to the people I love? The thought alone made him feel trapped. One day, while walking home from work, Adrian noticed a small bookstore he had never entered before. It was quiet, with an old wooden sign that read, "Wisdom for the Soul." Something about it drew him inside. The shop was filled with books about philosophy, history, and life's big questions. As he wandered between the shelves, an elderly man behind the counter asked, "Looking for something specific or something important?" Adrian hesitated. I want to stop being afraid of death." The old man smiled gently. "Then you've come to the right place." He handed Adrian a small worn book. The cover read, "Meditations by Marcus Aurelius." The Stoics knew that fearing death is like fearing the setting of the sun. It's natural, but unnecessary. Read, and you'll see. That night, Adrian began reading. One line stopped him. "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." He put the book down and thought about it. All this time, his fear of death had kept him from truly living. He avoided risks, stayed in his comfort zone, and often wasted his days worrying about a moment that hadn't even come yet. The next day, Adrian returned to the bookstore to thank the old man. The man, whose name was Lucius, invited Adrian to walk with him to the park. They sat on a bench under a large oak tree. "Tell me," Lucius said, "why do you fear death?" Adrian thought for a moment. "Because it means the end of everything. I don't want to lose what I have." Lucius nodded. "And yet every night when you sleep, you let go of the day. Do you fear that? Every season the trees lose their leaves. Do they fear winter? Death is part of the same cycle. You are part of nature, and nature wastes nothing." Adrian frowned. But still, the thought of not existing. Lucius picked up a fallen leaf from the ground. This leaf was once green, full of life. It gave shade, turned sunlight into food, and danced in the wind. Now it rests here, returning to the earth. Has it failed? It has simply completed its purpose. The Stoics taught that death is not an enemy, it is the final chapter of a story. What matters is how you live the pages before it. Adrian felt something shift inside him. For the first time, he saw death not as a thief, but as a teacher. If life was short, then every day mattered. If the end was certain, then wasting time on meaningless fears was foolish. Lucius continued, "The Stoics would reflect on death not to be morbid, but to be free. When you accept that your time is limited, you stop delaying what's important. You forgive faster. You speak your truth. You cherish the sunrise, the laughter of friends, the simple act of breathing. Death reminds us to live fully now." That evening, Adrian went home and wrote down 3 things he wanted to do but had been avoiding out of fear or hesitation. The first was to call his estranged brother and make peace. The second was to finally start writing the book he had dreamed about for years. The third was to travel alone to a place he had always wanted to see. In the weeks that followed, Adrian began living differently. He spoke more openly with the people he loved. He stopped wasting time on petty arguments. He laughed more, forgave faster, and said yes to experiences instead of finding excuses. Each morning he reminded himself, "If today were my last day, would I be proud of how I lived it?" Months later, Adrian returned to the bookstore. Lucius was there, smiling as always. "How's the fear?" he asked. Adrian smiled back. "It's not gone, but it no longer controls me. Death will come when it comes. Until then, I will live." Lucius nodded. That's all the Stoics ever wanted us to understand. Death is not the end to fear. It's the reminder to live without wasting a moment. When you stop fearing it, you are finally free.